Okay, so I think I've been able to set that up. So I'll have to do this. All right. So can everyone hear me now? Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
Yes.
It's actually raining very heavily in my area here. So hope my voice is sound and clear. Right? Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Your voice is clear. We can hear you.
All right. So I'm just sharing my screen. So we're going to kick off for today. So what we did yesterday was creating our layer styles, right? And we tried to show how we can actually create, our layer styles. And I told you guys that layer styles is just a way of documenting, our color typography, effects, style guides, so that we can maintain continuity in our workflow. And this was like what we did, and this was like some of our text styles that we documented, color styles, and of course we tried effect styles that we documented. And I said that when you're trying to work on a project, it's always advisable that you develop these systems, so that even when you're working on like different projects, even when you're working on like different projects, so even when you're working on a project with different designers, you understand, you already know how, or because of the systems you've created, the designers know how to work around it. So nobody is creating a new stuff, everybody is just following the system that have already been laid down, you understand. So in today's class, I want us to talk about prototyping. Now, every single thing we are discussing in class is in line with what we've already done. So everything is connected, right? So I'm just trying to follow this sequence so you guys can actually understand. So what we are going to do in today's class is still like connected to what we did in yesterday's class, but a little bit more advanced and a little bit more interesting. So now in today's class we are going to be doing prototyping, so we can call it introduction to prototyping, you understand. So I'm going to be showing us how we can prototype in Figma. Now prototyping is basically adding interactions to our workflow. So if you're looking at my screen now, you're going to see like a project, so this is like basically a complete project for a mobile app. I think it's a finance app, right? So I'm going to be using it as a sample, right? So the essence of me showing you guys this thing is in your personal project will actually work in real life, because that's what you hand over to like the developer. So after designing all these things, you're supposed to add interactions. You're supposed to show the interaction so that when the developer is coding, the developer know that okay, this is the kind of interaction I'm supposed to code into this particular page. So now, like I said earlier, prototyping is all about adding interactions. So I'm going to start from the onboarding screen of this application. Now for like the past 2 weeks we've been dwelling on this design panel, you understand, we've been dwelling on this design panel, but for today's class we are going to be dwelling on this prototype panel. So if I click on this prototype, I'll move over to a section that looks just like this, like you can see on my screen. So it's from here now that we're going to be creating all the different kinds of interactions that we're going to be creating in today's class. So let me jump into it. Let me zoom in so you can see my work better. Now this is the onboarding screen. So we have like 3 onboarding screens here. So what I want to do is I want to add an interaction. Now, okay, I think this is the high time you download. Okay, this is the high time you download Figma Mirror on your mobile device. So if you go to the Figma website, so I'll just take you guys to the Figma website so we'll be on the same page. Mirror on your mobile app, but you can do it from the website as well. So this is Figma website downloads here, right? So downloads will open up, but I think this is dragging. Okay, now so when you locate downloads, now you see under mobile app, you see Figma for iOS and Figma for Android. So when you use your Android device or your iOS device and you download this Figma for Android or Figma for iOS, it's going to install as an application on your phone. Now the essence of that is, for instance, now that we want to start prototyping, like adding interactions to these mobile screens that we already have on our Figma, I can be testing it in real time. So the same way you are using your mobile applications on your phone, that's the same way as I'm putting those interactions, I can be using my phone to be pressing those buttons I'm trying to add interactions to know if they are working the way they want, the way I want them to work. Am I communicating? Are you guys with me? Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Sorry, can you come again?
Like now, we want to start adding interactions. So interactions is that, okay, if I click on this button now, it should make a movement. All those things, like all those things you see while using your mobile app. Now we want to come and start adding them now. So to be able to be testing these things in real time, we can test it on our desktop, but I feel like you might feel more comfortable testing it with your mobile phone since you're designing for the mobile phone. So to do that, there's an app they call Fig. Check it on your Play Store, or you can come to Figma website. Just come to this products page, come to mobile app. Down if you're using an Android, you can download for Android. If you're using an iOS, you can download for iOS. Now the morning on your desktop, on that's your mobile device. Once you click on any frame, it will bring out everything that it's on that frame. So if I have a sign in button on that frame and I have prototyped it, once I click sign in on my phone, it will actually make a movement according to the interactions I've added. Do we understand it now? Do you understand it now? Do we understand?
Yes.
Alright, so I'll come back to my work. Yeah. So now I want us to add interactions to this page. Now in prototyping, we have like basic settings. So usually if you want your interactions to come on, you have to click on a particular frame. Now remember when we were doing introductory class to this particular to Figma, when we are trying to learn how to use the Figma interface, I told you guys that when you're trying to design, make sure you don't use a rectangle, instead use a frame. And I told you that the sole reason for that is that Figma does not prototype from object to object, it prototypes from frame to frame. So as you can see, all these jobs we are done on a frame, so I can actually prototype from this particular frame to this particular frame. So now let me show you guys how this thing works. So if I click on this particular frame now, you can see on this prototype now it's saying something like flow starting point, interactions, and of course overflow scrolling. So I'm going to explain these things like one after the other. So when I add a flow point, on this page, on this particular place now, I am telling Figma that anytime I restart this thing, start the interaction from this place. So for instance, now if I click on this plus sign now, you can see something like flow 1 here. You understand? So once I press on play, you understand, it's going to open up in a new browser. Let me share this tab so we see how it's opening. It's going to open up in a new browser and it's going to show me that frame. So let's just wait for it to open up so you guys see how it looks like. Yeah, so it's going to show me that particular frame. So I can be using this particular frame to test, what I'm doing or how I want it to be looking like. Now, of course, I can add a model to this. I can add like a device like a mobile screen, like as you can see, my device here is set to none. Oh, sorry, share this tab. Sorry, my device here is set to none. That is why you're not seeing a device model there. But I can decide on adding probably iPhone 13 Pro Max as my model here. So if I come back here and I play, you know, it's going to add a phone model, you know, for me there. So let me just show you guys that. So in case some people like having that thing like the model. So know that if you're designing for a desktop screen, the model you should choose or the device you should choose should be like your desktop screen, right? Okay, I need to fix this. Sorry. Yep, so I think it looks more like that. So I'll just change from exit to 11. Okay, I think I should use let me try Android. Yeah, so Android fits well, so I'll use this as my model. So I have it like this. So I just want, since we are using desktop to be showing how our work will look like, let's just make use of this model so we can have a clearer picture. So when I come to my prototype, now I've set my model and all of those. Now I've added a flow point. So meaning that anytime I play this prototype, like if I restart this prototype from start, it's going to start from this flow 1. Now you might ask yourself, okay, what's the essence of adding flow points? Now for instance, now as you can see in this particular work here on my screen, you can see I have a lot of screens. So what if I have prototyped up to this stage, like probably up to this last stage? Does it mean that if I want to restart, I'll now have to go and restart from flow 1? Do you understand? And then I'll start, you know, moving till I get to the exact page. You understand? That is where adding different flow points come in. So now that I've added flow 1, probably just to make this work easier, I can say, okay, from send money section, I can add another flow point. And the moment you add flow point, it becomes flow point 2. So when I come to my preview section, are you guys seeing this particular tab? Okay, yeah. So when oh my god, did you guys see how I added the flow point 2?
No, it was this one this screen that we were seeing.
Okay, let me just undo that and then share this particular tab. So now I've added flow point 1 here. My flow point 1 is here, but in a case scenario whereby as this we have a lot of pages here, so does it mean that if I want to, maybe I'm sure I'm done with all the prototype, I'm okay with the prototype I have from onboarding to the, you know, send money section. So I want to start prototyping from send money section, and of course, you know, I'll be iterating, so I might move back to this, you know, come back to this. So does it mean that if I move back, it will take me back to onboarding screen? It could be so hectic. So what I'll do is I'll come here and add another flow point. So if I click on this particular frame and click on this plus sign, it will add a flow point here. So the moment you press play or you come back to your tab where you view your prototype, let me share this particular tab. You come back to your tab where you view your prototype, you can see that I now have flow point 1 and flow point 2. So if I click on flow point 2, it will actually take me to the send money page. Am I communicating, guys? So anything I'm doing will start from flow point. We start from this send money page. Do you guys understand how flow points work now?
Yes.
Alright, so let me come back. Let's come back here. So now I've shown you guys how flow points. So you can have as many flow points as you like, depending on like the number of pages you're working on and how you want. Because the moment if I have these flow points now, let's just say I prototype up to this particular page, like this relocation page here where my mouse is on, and I'm sure that I'm okay with everything I've done on this page, and I didn't add another flow point probably from this other page. It means that once I press the restart button, it will come back here. So I have to keep on pressing next, or pressing the buttons that will take me to the next page before I'll get to that point that I want to work on. So that's the advantage of flow points, just to and let you know that okay, if you start this thing, you can start from here and start working. So that's how it works. So now let's start adding interactions to this work and then understand how prototype works. So when I click on this, my onboarding screen, now I want it to be that now how this thing works now is when I click on interactions, right, you must be selected on a frame before the interaction panel will be highlighted. So I'm selected on this onboarding screen 1. So when I click on interactions now you have a list of options you can pick from. Now these options are dependent on different screen sizes that you're designing for. Like now that we're designing for mobile devices, that means we'll be seeing more of on tap. Now if you're designing for websites, you might be seeing more of on click, you understand, or drag or something like that. So now that's just basically how some of these things work. Like while hovering means, I don't know if you've seen a platform whereby if you use your mouse and you hover on a button, it will change a color first, and once you remove your mouse, you understand, the color returns back to its original state. So that's where you use while hovering. While pressing keypads or gamepads, mouse enter, mouse leave, when you're touching it down or when you're touching it up. So these are like different interactions, you understand, that you can add to your work, or these are like the main interactions that we make with different surfaces or with different screens, you understand. So it's just there. So you're just going to be picking from these interactions here, you understand, to create your prototype. So but the very good thing is there is a way you can actually combine like 1 or 2 interactions. So for instance, the idea behind prototyping is like I am on this page now. As an interaction designer, I'm supposed to now think of what are the most possible clicks or the most possible touch that a user can make on this particular screen. Do you understand? So those are the kind of thoughts that will be on my head, and I'll be adding those interactions. You understand? That is why once you bring your mobile device, if you click on tap, it will work. Like if you click on next, it will take it to the next frame. If you still drag it, it will take it to the next frame. Why? Because all those interactions have been predicted that these are the interactions that these users are most likely going to make on this page, and the designers have actually added all those interactions. You understand? So anything you click on is actually going to work. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So as we're trying to be adding these interactions, I'll be asking you guys, okay, based on this thing, what do you think that the user might do? And then you guys will tell me, then we'll now create that interaction, and that's how we form our prototype. So on this particular page, we have like 2 main interactions that might go on here, which is of course the user might want to, if there's a next button, the user might want to click on the next button to go to the next screen, or since there is no next button, that means the user might just want to drag the frame to move over to the next stop. So whichever way, but because I am working with my system, I might not be able to use my mouse to drag just like that. I will activate both the drag interaction and the tap interaction. So here now, if you click on this plus arrow, you can actually drag from here and connect it to the next frame. So me connecting it to the next frame, what I'm telling Figma is any interaction I put on frame 1, take me to the next frame. So for instance now, if I tap frame 1, take me to frame 2. So me tapping frame 1 is me telling Figma that I want to move over to the next frame. Am I communicating, guys? So now if I click on this arrow now, this interaction panel will come up. So this is where I will determine what will happen. So I am telling Figma, for tapping here, navigate to open overlay, swipe overlay. So open overlay is like just open like the next page like an overlay. Then swipe is like swap it like an overlay. Then close overlay is like close it like an overlay. But those are not the interactions that we need here. We just need like simple, smooth interactions. Now we don't want it to go back. We don't want it to scroll to. We don't want it to open like a link. So all we just want to, if we click or tap on this particular screen, navigate or move us to frame 2. So I will select navigate to frame 2. This is onboarding 2, or I can just click an arrow here and drag it to frame 2. Now if I want it to be that if I click on this onboarding page 1, it should take me to frame 3 instead of frame 2. All I just need to do is just to drag this arrow from onboarding page 1 to onboarding page 2, and you can see it will update it here. So as you can see, onboarding page 3 is selected here. So that is how you just connect Now there are case scenarios that by the time you finish connecting all these things, by the time you zoom out, you just see like arrows like going around your workspace, like cobwebs and all of those. Now that is where it gets more interesting. I think by the time we finish prototyping this page, it's going to look like that, but we need to understand like the basics of it. Like this is just basically the basics. So when you have a lot of wires going on, you don't get confused on what you're doing. So but this is just like the basics. So I'll just take this from frame 1 to from frame 3 to frame 2, to onboarding page 2. So now I want it to like untap this. When I untap it, navigate to frame 2. Now you now have to now choose the animation. Now do you want it to smart animate? Do you want it to just dissolve in? Do you want it to just move in or move out, or push in or push out? I believe we are all familiar with these terminologies. Now it works that exact same way, but I'm going to dwell on smart animate. Now when do you use smart animate? Because I think like that's like the terminology that is a little bit different. Now you use smart animate when you're trying to create like basic animations. Now what do I mean? If I want a page, I want something to move from point 1 to point 2, but I actually want to see the movement of that particular object from point 1 to point 2. Smart animate is your go-to option. So smart animate tries to show the animation between the objects, while the object is trying to transition, while every other option there is self-explanatory. Like options like moving, so when you use moving, you're telling that okay, the next frame should just move in. When you use sliding, you're telling that okay, the next frame should just slide in. So I'm going to be trying out some of these options across this thing. That's why I got like a project that have like a lot of screens, so we can try out almost all these options, so we now get used to them and then start using them. It's not very hard. It's not hard at all. It's just to understand that okay, this is how it works, and then you now start connecting your frames. So first of all, I just want this to probably move in. Now if you're using moving, now you're not going to determine okay, which angle do you want it to move in. As you can see, as I'm hovering on these arrows, you're seeing like the directions. You want it to move from under, from top, or blah blah blah, but I want it to just move from this side, I think from this other side, so it should move from the right to the left. I think I'm okay with that. And then you can decide to determine how you want it to come in. Do you want it to ease in? Do you want it to ease out? Do you want it to move in gently? I think gently, quickly, bounce, slow, and custom swings are like new options. These options were not existing. They came with the recent update that was just made on Figma. I think the recent updates happened last month, middle of last month. So these are like new options. But the ones we had before was just like easing down to, this was not custom Blazor, but it was just custom. But custom Blazor allows you to like add like how would I put it? Like interactions, like this jiggy effect. So when I click on a button, like it comes in and then it bounces. So you can create those kind of effects now in Figma. So we are going to just explore all of those, but I'm just trying to take it one after the other. So I think what I should use now is just probably ease in, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just telling you to just ease in from the right to the left, and then of course after selecting that, you can determine how long. What do you want it to take, like 30 milliseconds, or do you want to take like 500 milliseconds, or do you want to take like 1000 milliseconds? So 1000 milliseconds is like equals to 1 second. And now while trying to add your prototype, you must be conscious of the timing you're using. Now the timing can actually give you some nice interaction transition, or it can give you like a door kind of interaction. So when you use a slower time, it's going to just be dragging, and you don't want that kind of prototype. So you want everything to just be moving like just the normal way you are familiar with your mobile apps. So now, so the best figure to use for, like the standard figure to use for creating some smooth transitions is between 300 milliseconds to like 600 milliseconds, but mostly advisable 300 to 500 milliseconds. You always have nice transitions. So I'll just keep mine to 300, because I don't actually, when you're trying to create a prototype, you have to be very conscious not to create interactions that will be too noisy. You understand? The user is not supposed to know that okay, something happened, but the user is still supposed to feel that okay, at least something happened. But they're not supposed to like, your interaction is not supposed to like be dragging the entire attention in the workspace. So let it just be that everything is minimal, so that it's not distracting. Okay, so I think I've chosen this to be 300 milliseconds. So you can type in 500, but I'll just keep mine at 300. Now I am okay with this. So I added on tap. So when I it means that anywhere I tap on this frame, you know, it should change me to the onboarding screen too. But let me add another interaction, right? So if you want to add another interaction, you will see this plus sign by the interaction. So you can add as many possible interactions that can actually exist on this particular page. You understand? So I can add another interaction here. But one thing you should know is that since we've used an untap option here, the untap option will not be available again in our second interaction. You understand? So it has to be like another interaction. As you can see, the untap option is no longer available, telling us that we've already used this option, so we need to use another option. So what I want now is on drag, you know, navigate to onboarding screen 2, which is this. Now this is the advantage of naming your layers, like naming your frames. I talked about this earlier in class. So as you can see, now that my frames is properly named, you know, I know which frame, you know, I'm moving to by just seeing the names I named it here. But if you let it as frame 1 rectangle, 2 rectangle, you'll be so confused because you don't know the rectangle that you're supposed to now navigate to. You get? So that's why it's very, very good that from the onset where you're working, you try to name your frames. So we are working with onboarding 2. So I'll move this to onboarding 2, and then I'll just retain like these options I've chosen here. So move in, ease out, I think I should keep it at ease in, then 300 milliseconds. Now ladies and gentlemen, let me come to my the, what do you call it, what should I be calling this page now? Let me come to the prototype. I'll be calling this place the prototype tab, you know. So anytime I say prototype tab, that means we just want to check what we've done so far. So I'll remove this back please. So let's just allow it to load. If it loads, I'll change it from flow point 1 to flow point 2 to flow point 1 because we are still, you know, working on flow point 1. So I'll click on this ladder icon here and change this to flow point 1. So now let's try what we've, you know, prototype. So the first interaction we added was on drag. So I'll try to drag this. So as you can see, you saw the movements now. So I'll restart. If I want to restart the interaction, I'll press R. R is the shortcut to restart. So restart, I'm telling you to go to the first frame, which is where the flow point 1 is. So if I click on it, you know, the first one was I dragged it, but the second one I just clicked now, so it made the same movement. So let's just assume that, okay, probably there is a button here, you know. So if I click on the button here, it brings us to this page. Do we understand? Do we understand? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Do we understand?
Yes.
Is anybody confused? Is anybody confused?
No.
All right. So share this tab instead. So I use the option that you should move from right to left. So let me just say it should come from bottom up. So I just change that on the drag. Let me see, change it on the tab, you know. So and then I'll come back here, you know, and then show us this screen. So let's start it again. So when I tap, it comes from under, you know. So that's just basically how it works. So the options you put there is what is going to give you. The options you put there is what is going to give you. So now since we've understood this, let me quickly rush it through on all the onboarding screens. So here I'll just add interactions, and on tap, you know, navigate to this 3. You know, can just use moving. I think I changed it down to this, so I'm okay. So I've fully prototyped my onboarding screen. So my onboarding screens now have complete interactions. So when I'm sending this prototype to probably a friend to test this product, anywhere that my friend is clicking on, everything is, you know, fully active. So all the basic interactions that my friend is most likely going to make on this onboarding screen. I've added it, so I don't need to be telling my friend, okay, click on this particular place. Anywhere they click on, because I've been able to predict the most likely interactions they are going to make, you understand, it will work. Now there are some cases that, okay, you know, think of all the most likely interactions they are going to make, and you are not able to capture like still some. So that is why the last stage of design thinking process is to test the product. So when you're trying to test, probably you can equally tell anybody that is testing the product, okay, if you notice a button that is not active or is not working according to the way it's supposed to work, they can equally draw your attention to it. It's still part of the testing process. So so that's that. Okay, so this screen is supposed to come first, so I'll just add an interaction there. Now I want to add an interaction on this particular screen. So I want this particular screen to move from, because the logo of the company is supposed to show first, like a loading time, right? Now if it shows first, I want it to like move to this first onboarding screen. Follow me closely, guys, follow me very closely. Now I want it to move first to this onboarding screen. Now this is like the first thing I'm supposed to do, but I think I didn't remember that page is there, so I start with the onboarding screens. But usually you always have your splash screens before the app will open. Now watch, I've dragged it to this onboarding screen 1. Now, but the interaction that is supposed to happen on this page is not supposed to be a tap. Most times you don't need to tap anything. So now the interaction I'm going to add here will not be on tap, neither will it be all of this. It will now be after delay. So normally when you open your app, it's going to like show you the bank logo, and then after a period of time it will now open up. So this is the option that makes that work, after delay. So when I select on after delay, now I'm now supposed to set the time. So if you set it 800 milliseconds, you understand, 800 milliseconds is still not up to 1 second. So after like 800 milliseconds, switch to the next page. So let me make this 600, because 800 milliseconds is like, you know, so after like 600 milliseconds, automatically switch. So I can use like smart animate here, you know, just to show like a little bit of animation and all of those, you understand. Or you can use any of the options, move in, move out, but I like keeping it smart animate, you know, so that it can move in smoothly. But I'm still going to discuss extensively on smart animate, you know, so we understand how it works. You can use it to create some nice, you know, effects on some nice movements in Figma. But let's understand the basic concept. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I go back to this my prototype here, if I come back to this prototype now, and you know, I try to start, it will not take me to the splash screen first. Who can tell me why it will not take me to the splash screen? Can anybody tell me why it will not take me to the splash screen? Can anybody tell me why?
We have to restart it.
Yeah, I've restarted. So I just restarted it now, but it didn't take me to the splash screen. Why is this so? Can anybody tell me?
Because you still have this page that is showing as your flowchart 1.
Exactly. Because my flowchart 1 is still on this particular page. So that is why it's not taking me to the splash screen, because I'm telling Figma that my flowchart 1 should start from this particular page, as you can see. So if I want that to now change, I have to now come and drag this flowchart 1 from that point to the splash screen. So I'll just drag this flowchart 1, so I can actually drag it down and then put it to the splash screen. So Figma has automatically, you know, changed it. So if I come back to my prototype, you know, screen, and then I restart it, the moment I restart it, it will take me to the splash screen, as you can see. So you can see it loaded, then it opened, it loads more, then it opened, it loads more, then it opened. Let me increase the time so we can actually see the effect. So I'll come back here. Well, I should make it 1 second. 1 second is not bad. Yeah, delay. So after delay, put it to 1000. I'll make it 1000. 1000 milliseconds is like 1 second. Then I'll make this 300. No, let's make it 500 so we can actually see the animation, right? Yeah. So I'll come back here, share this tab so we can see it. Then I'll restart. So you can see it's there. Then it makes the movement. It's there. Then it makes the movement. So if we have like animated logo here, probably if this logo was animated, you know, the logo can do all the animations here before it opens the onboarding screen. Do you understand how this thing is working now? Do you understand how it works?
Yes.
Alright. So now let's proceed. So I'll come back here. I'll come back
Excuse
then.
me.
Yeah, go ahead.
How were you able to make the logo page your first page, the first flow page before the onboarding screen?
Yeah, what I did was this our flow chart now, because it's this flow chart, this flow one, that is determining where our screen flow will start from. So what I just did, it was here before, I just clicked on it, dragged it down, so it's placed here. So what I just did was I clicked on it, then dragged it down to that splash screen. If I drag it to this place now, it simply means I'm telling it to start from this sign-in page. Do you understand? So I dragged it to the splash screen, and then it started from there. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Now already you know that I've already added my interaction. My interaction is that from this flowchart one, after delay, move to this onboarding screen one. So meaning that if I say from this flow splash screen now, after delay, move to probably sign in, that is the next page is going to show, because that's where I connected the interaction to. We get the idea, right?
Yes.
All right. So now I think we've done this. So now after this onboarding screen, after you must have seen the onboarding screen now, what next? I want them to see the sign-in page. So I just have to connect, from this onboarding screen 3, I just have to connect, a line here. So it will be, okay, on tap, come to this page. Now, mind you, if for instance I have a skip button here, I'm just so sorry that I didn't put some of these things. So just a very fast something. Now, if for instance now I have like a skip button here, it simply means that I'm going to connect that skip button. Or let me just put the skip button, so I won't be saying. So let's just say this is skip, right? I have a skip button here. So I'll duplicate this skip button to equally this page and duplicate it to this page, right? Now I have a skip button here, and you know that there is possibility that the user might press this skip button. And of course, when the user press the skip button, it means that I don't want to see these onboarding screens again. Probably I've seen it before. Just take me to sign-in page. Now it simply means that I'll connect this skip button on page 1, on onboarding page 1. I'll connect it. I'll put a connector from here. So I'll just click on the skip button. Make sure you're in the prototype section for the connector to show. I'll bring it to sign-in page. Probably on tab, navigate to this. Now you might not want to use smart animate here. I don't want to use smart animate, please. But that's just it. But that means this particular skip button, I'll still connect it to this sign-in page, and this other skip button, I'll still connect it to this sign-in page. So whichever screen that the user is on, and then they decided to press that skip button, it will still take them to that sign-in page, because all the skip buttons were prototyped to go to the sign-in page when you click on them. Do we understand?
Yes.
All right. So I think I should just try that out. So we start. So this the skip button. So when I click on it, it brings me to the sign-in page. So when I if I don't click on the skip button, I probably click on the frame. It brings me here. I click on another frame. It brings me here. Then if I click on the skip button, it takes me to the sign-in page. So that's just basically the interactions we've added. And ladies and gentlemen, with this little thing that we've done, you can actually prototype a full project without having. This is just what you're going to be doing. It's just the math. This is just the math. Like trying to predict the interactions or the clicks that the users are going to make on a particular page. Then you try to add those interactions. Then if you want to make your work, like if you become so good, you become a pro, then you can try to now start creating some unique animations. So instead of something moving linearly, you can make it to move in a spiral way, create all those kind of animations, because you now understand the basics of trying to animate in Figma. So that's just it. But let's do like 1 or 2 more pages before we because there's something else we're supposed to do in today's class. Sign in. Let's do sign in button, right? So I want it that, okay, when you come here and you click on this button, it should move you to no when you click on sign in, it means that you must have put your information here, right? So when I click on this sign in button, it should take me to the home page, right? So where is my home page? So yeah, so when I click on this sign in button, right, so take me to home page. So on tap, it's just like tap. So on tap, you know, I'm not using mouse enter because this is a mobile device. It's for websites that we consider options like mouse enter. Like when your mouse enters, it probably change color or probably bring out an overlay or something like that. So I don't know if you've seen something like probably when you hover your mouse over that thing, it brought out like probably a more detailed box about that particular feature or something like that. That's that kind of feature. So I'm trying to explain these things because I'm expecting you guys to try it out, like, because you enjoy it more when you're trying to do these things. So on tap, navigate to this home, probably use smart animate. Then this time around I just want to use ease in and ease out. So ease in and ease out just means in and out, you know. Probably this bring it down to 300 milliseconds because I'm always very comfortable using that. So so this will be so now I'm equally going to, because I have a create account page here. So if you're not signing into the app, that means you're creating an account in the app. So on this particular page, this sign up bar, I'll just navigate it to. So once the user clicks on sign up, take them to the create account page. So on tap, navigate to. As you can see, Figma already registers the presets I'm using, because normally you're supposed to have like consistency in your prototype settings. You know, it's supposed to like be using different settings. So that's why Figma automatically registers the last options you used. So probably you can reuse them, unless you just basically want to just change interactions. Then you can jump into the details there and then readjust them. So I think I've done that. So create account. So of course I can say once you create account, then you know, enter verification codes. You know, comes to once the user clicks on then enter the OTP page. You know, let me just maintain this, and once the user press continue, bring out this, you know, and then if the user press on agree, so I can decide to prototype that if the user press on agree now, like I think we should do that, it's important. So if the user press on agree, take them to the home page right now. But if the user press on disagree, you know, we have to take them back to create account. So if the user decides to hit on the disagree button, you know, we'll take the user back to create account page. You understand? So I've been able to determine the basic interaction that is going to happen there. So let's just try and see what we've done with this so far. So I'll restart. So I'll restart this. So yeah, and then click, you know, click. So it's here. So but we want to do sign up, right? So I'll click on sign up. You can see it brings this out. So why, sorry, so why you're seeing some of the animations, like you see the way there's an animation on that page, it's because I am using smart animate. So Figma is trying to put some animations there. Let's go there, let's go through it again. So I click on sign up. Now the moment I click on sign up, watch the animation that happens on the page. Now see this kind of animation. Did you guys see what happened there? Did you guys see the kind of animation that happened there? Let me come again. So sign up. You understand? So let's do it again. Go on this, then sign up. Now this animation, it is possible because I use smart animate as my transition option. If I had used move in and move out, it will not make those animations. It will just move the entire frame in. It's a static flow. But when I'm using smart animate, I'm trying to tell Figma, okay, try to animate some of these things. And basically how smart animate works, it works based on layer similarity. So how does Figma know, okay, I'm supposed to animate this component? It's based on your naming, your layer naming. So what you name, how you name your layers is how Figma is going to animate those layers. Am I communicating, guys?
Yes.
Is anybody confused at this point? Any confusions?
I'm confused.
You're
confused.
You're confused. Okay, where?
Can you please? Can you please reduce the timing of the animation so that we can at least see it very well?
Oh,
You know?
okay, yeah. God, man. So let me just locate the buttons and so probably it's 300. Maybe I should make it like 800 now. So I'm just clicking on all the buttons that I've admitted. 800. So, but the person that said she didn't understand, where exactly are you lost? Where exactly are you lost?
The connection, how you're just connecting this one, another one, and another one. You get me? Like how you're connecting them.
Okay. Now the
I'm
connecting.
kind of confused.
Okay, the connector is just very simple. So for instance, now if I want to prototype between this page and this page, so far you on this prototype section, that's this prototype, and you know before the designs we were doing, we were on this design panel, so it was showing us all this other option. But now we want to start adding interaction, so we switched over to the prototype section. So far you're on this prototype section now. You understand? This is where once you're on this prototype section, any frame you click on, it will show you like a dot. So it's from that dot now you can start dragging out. So if I click on this dot now, anywhere I drop this dot, so if I drag it to this frame now, I'm telling Figma from enter OTP page, move to the confirmation page. Do you understand? Do you understand that one?
Yes, but
Yes.
Where I'm confused in particular is when you said if a sign, like
Okay.
if
Yes.
the person's
Yes.
like
I understand what
well,
you're
how
saying.
you stayed on one frame and
Yes.
connects it twice,
Okay now.
as in positive and negative.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying. Now, you know, in this, for instance, now I'm on this create account now. On this particular create account now, you know, I told you that as an interaction, there are people that are called interaction designers. There are people that their work in this product design thing is just to be putting interactions. Like that's their strength. There are people that are based in UX. There are people that are based in UI. You understand? So, but you can actually be all of them, but you just need to understand how it works. So now, as an interaction designer, you're supposed to think what are the most possible clicks that a user is going to make on this particular screen that I've designed. What are the most possible interactions that can exist on this particular page? So anytime you're prototyping, that should be what should be ringing on your head. That should be what should be directing your thinking pattern. So now on this particular create account page now, I have like a lot of interactions that the users are going to make, but I didn't start, putting main focus on them, because on this particular full name, on this particular input details, the user is going to click on this box, right, to start putting in their names. I can create interactions like for that particular box. So I can create that, okay, once this user click on this thing, let this enter name change to a mouse this thing, a mouse icon or some, not a mouse icon, a cursor icon, right, a typing cursor icon or something like that. So the same thing for enter email, the same thing. So those are interactions that are possible. You understand? So those are the kind of interactions that can exist there. But we went ahead to prototype for create account. Now if I click on this create account now, that means the user must have finished putting all their details, or the user has already created an account, so their details are already documented on the database of this particular application. So the user the application will recognize that user. So once you click on this create account, just take them to the home page. But if the user did not create an account, probably when the user was trying to sign in, he signed in using a Google account, or probably an Apple account, or a Facebook account. That means we need to see prototype this thing, telling them, okay, when the user clicks on this Google account, you understand, sign them in using the Google authentication method. Do you understand now, Olivia?
Yes.
Now,
So
yeah.
what I want to get now is that means you can actually stay on one frame and connect it to, as in you can connect to two frame at the same time.
Yes. That was what we did when I was trying to explain how the skip connection works. So we connected like from 3 different frames to one frame. So you can connect from like one frame to like 3 different frames or 10 different frames. So far that, okay, from any frame they join, they are going to come back to that frame. So for instance now, in this particular page now, we have like these two options, which is either the user agrees and continue, or he disagrees. So if the user agrees and continue, move the user to the home page. But if the user disagrees, take the user back to the create account page, because of course you must agree before I will take you to the home page. Am I communicating?
Yes.
So that was just the interaction that we added there. So you can see that from here now, I took it to the home. I took the user from, if you can follow this arrow here, you see that this arrow went down to the home page. But if the user had disagreed, if your user had clicked on disagree, that means it did not allow us to properly authenticate him or her. So we take them back to probably the create account page. So that was just the interaction that we added. You get it now, Ba?
Yes.
All right. So so let's proceed. I think I have adjusted the timing. So now, but what I was trying to explain is the smart animate. Now, if you use other options, you know, if you use some of these other options, let me just open up. If you use all these other options, what they do is they just pick a frame and create a static transition. So if I use moving, it's just that your frame that it's moving in. It's not animating any component that is on that frame. But the moment you use smart animate, it starts animating components that are existing on that frame. Usually it does it automatically. But how does Figma know which component to animate? Or how can you tell Figma, okay, I want you to animate this component? By layer naming. So layers that have the same name characteristics is what Figma is going to animate. Am I communicating? Do you guys understand that?
Yes, but please, what do you mean by layer?
Okay, these are our layers. These are our layers. So for instance now, if I click on the sign-in page now, this is the sign-in now, right? So these stops here are my layers. As you can see, they are in groups because this is like a proper job that was done. So everything was done accordingly. So if I open up this button group now, I can see some other stuffs. If I open up the description panel, you can see what is on the description. Do you understand? Now, if I come to this sign in order, this create account page, which is this, we can see that the layer characteristics is actually similar to this other. The frame characteristics is actually similar to this other stuff. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is what I mean by layers. Do you understand what I'm saying, Rita?
Yes, I grab now.
Yes. So these are layers. So what Figma will do is, if you're using Smart Animate, Figma will now come and check on these layers now. Which one are named alike? Which one are named alike? Although it's different frames, but it will not check. In frame 1, does the frame 1 have any similar characteristics with frame 2? If Figma can connect any similar characteristics to that,
Yeah, we can.
yeah, so you can just see the animations and stuff like that. So why that animation is like that is because we are like do some, okay, probably the name characteristics of this email will not be the same name characteristics of this full name. Then Figma will not animate it. Do you understand? Why Figma is animating full name and email here? I think full name and password is because they have the same name characteristics in the layers. So if I press sign up now, see what happens. You just interchange and then change the information there. You get? So it's because of Smart Animate. So I just need you guys to understand that, because we're still going to create like more complex, animations, and we're going to be using Smart Animate. So I needed to lay like the foundation. So as we are trying to do more complex things, we will not get more confused. So if I click on create account, it just does this. Did I animate this? Continue. Like, you need to know which page or how you're using your smart animation. Like, it's moving like this. Although the timing was, I reduced the timing though, but if I click on agree and you understand. So if that I just come here on the agree button. So if I'm agreeing, don't use smart animate, instead use instant, right? So I'll come back to my prototype tab, so this tab instead, and then I'll just go back, and then if I click on agree, it just brings up why is he still doing that? Restart. So like this, then from this one, this one should be on top, but not smart animates instant. That's okay. So let me try this again. Agree. I don't know where the enter OTP is coming from. I'm seeing a faded enter OTP for so sometimes you can encounter some of these kind of challenges. Like I'm just looking at it because I know that by default it's not supposed to be like that. So this is where the enter OTP is. So how come the enter OTP is showing on this particular page? Okay now see, I've figured out the fault. Let me show you. So it's very important that I show you guys this, because these are like the basic challenges you're going to be encountering. So like I told you, like how Figma does its animation, especially smart animation is when your layers are the same name, Figma animates those layers that are the same name. Now watch, enter OTP here is named as description on my layers panel. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me?
I didn't get you.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Now see here, let me show you guys this thing again. This you can call it a bug. You understand? You can call it a bug. Now watch. Now I am trying to animate this. So if I click on agree and continue now, you are seeing that there is enter OTP. Are you guys seeing that enter OTP that is flying up? Please, you guys make this class more interactive, so I'll be sure that you understand what I'm saying. You get, if you don't understand, you tell me so you understand better. The essence is to understand. Now if I click on agree and continue, you see there's an enter OTP that is flying up. Are you guys seeing it?
You saw it.
You saw it back. Now
Can you do it again?
now this is it. So if I go back here, click on agree and continue, you see enter OTP is flying up. Are you seeing it? Somewhere around there. Let me read it.
I didn't see it though.
I didn't say it.
Agree again. Are you guys not seeing something around there?
Okay. I mean, it's happening so fast.
Yes, but it's not supposed to be like that. So just be looking at that area. Just stop here. You see it. Look at it here. Enter OTP. You're seeing that enter OTP stuff that is moving, right? Did we see it?
Yes.
So now normally it's not supposed to be like that, because look at where my enter
Yeah,
OTP.
but it came fast and I mean it's moved immediately.
Yeah, it's not supposed. The animation is not supposed. So those are like animation flaws. You understand? You're when creating animation, you shouldn't allow such things to happen. So, and that was what I was trying to tackle because I knew it was wrong. So now, and you know, throughout this class, I've been trying to explain how Smart Animate works. I'm trying to tell you guys that Smart Animate works by animating layer similarities, or once your layer have the same name with another object on another layer, and you use Smart Animate to animate those layers, because it's seen that okay, these things have the same name, so maybe they are related. That's how Figma understands it. So now this enter OTP now is named as description on my layers. You can see it here. It's named as description on my layers. Now if you come to my home button, which is somewhere around there, you still see that if I click on this welcome back, then the name, you still see that it's named as description. So because of that, Figma is animating the two objects together. So that's why you're seeing that enter OTP show on the home page when you trying to access the home page. Do you understand now, guys?
Yes.
So now, to avoid that error or to correct that error, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the name of this syntax now, or of this variable, because it's a variable now. So I'm going to change the name by double clicking on this layer now. So instead of calling it, probably I can say description welcome, or probably description. Let's just say descript welcome. So Figma will no longer associate it with that enter OTP because it's no longer the same name. Now this naming is very important because from here now we are moving to variants and how to create interactive components. And interactive components is where like the main, mathematics and brain work comes in. So but you need to understand this naming. You understand? That's why I'm like trying to dwell on it. So now I've changed the name of this to descript welcome. Therefore, Figma will no longer associate it together. So when I repeat that animation now, there is possibility I will not see that kind of movement again. So when I click on agree now, ouch, refresh. All right, so let's move.
So you see the screen now.
Okay. So you can see the what do you call it? The enter OTP is not showing again. So if I go back and just click on sign in, you can see the enter OTP is not showing there again. Did we see it?
Yes.
So,
No.
Okay, just watch now. Now I'm about to click on the sign in button. You know that place you are seeing that enter OTP movement. Now I'll be looking at that place. You will not see that enter OTP again because Figma is no longer associating it with. It's no longer associating the two variables. It's seeing it as different things, so it's no longer animating it together. So when I click on sign in now, you didn't see that. Instead, what you just saw was just welcome coming in. Do we understand it now?
Yes.
All right. So there's still a lot to do. Probably I'm going to give you guys like access to this work, and then you guys are going to do all the prototype and then do a screen record. I'll show you guys how to do a screen record of how to record your prototype, and then you just do the prototype like from the beginning of this project, add interactions, try out all these interactions. I'm just doing that because of time. Our time is up. You try out all these interactions. By the time you finish prototyping every single thing on this particular page, you must have exhausted all the interactions. You understand? So be creative. Try out all the interactions. I'll give you access to this work. You use it and learn the prototype, or just the same thing we've done now. Just do it across all the pages. Let it be that once you're sending it to me, once you're sending me your prototype, and I'm clicking on anything, all the buttons are active. You understand? So you don't know the buttons I'm going to click on, so just make all buttons active. So I'll send you guys the file, but okay, that's that on that. Now let me introduce our time is officially up, but I wanted to introduce to us interactive components. But what do I mean by interactive components? For instance, now I think I've shown that in class, right? Yeah, I think I've explained it, but let me show you guys something. Now this is a button. I don't even know where I picked this button from, but this is a button. Now
I'm not seeing the screen.
Okay, sorry. Now this is a button. I picked it from one of the pages. Now this button now is existing in different states and in different styles. We are not going to be looking at them this night because I think the prototype thing is enough for us so that we don't jam pack our head. But I'm just going to introduce it. We'll continue.
It's enough for that one is even heavy.
We'll continue from there tomorrow. You understand? But you see this particular button now is existing in different states, so I can reuse this button in any way. How do I mean? When I click on this button now, if you come to this button now, you can see that this button is existing in small size. So if I click on it, it changes to small automatically. It changes to large. And then if I want to change the style, I can change maybe secondary button, tertiary button, or disabled button. This tertiary, and then I can change the state to this. So, but it is one button. So I can change this back to the large but primary button. So but it is one button that I'm doing all these things with. So I have created this button in such a way that I can reuse it. So now us trying to create buttons in a reusable state is creating what we call variants. Now variants works in a component set. So a component set is what houses variants. Let me just show you guys what I mean. So for instance now, I have something else button. We're going to end it in, so then I'll remove it.
Sorry, so the voice is.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me very well now? Can you hear me very well?
We are losing the audio.
How about now? Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you, but we lost it. Yes, we can hear you now.
Alright.
Well, we didn't get whatever you said.
Secondary state. Now, but I want this button to be reusable because I just created this thing like 1-1. How I'm going to do that is by creating.
It's cracking.
Okay. Let's do it this way. Let's just end here for today's class. We'll continue again tomorrow, please, because of time. So that since network is already fluctuating, but we've done something. We have achieved something.
Thank
today.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's end today. So ladies and gentlemen,
Please, sir.
Yeah.
There was this article you wanted to drop for us.
On the group. Okay, I didn't later do that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that just after this class now. I remember. I'll do that after this class. So we'll meet again same time tomorrow tomorrow. Rather. We'll meet again same time tomorrow. So please while coming to class, try and come with your laptop so you can actually try these things out. Then I'll equally post I'll share the link to the design file that we worked with today, so you can try the prototype thing with that particular file. So when you get to the file, just request for edit access, so I'll be able to grant you edit access so you can actually edit the work and do to the work whatever you want to do to it. You get. So thanks for making our time to be in class. See you guys tomorrow.
And you're going to send this video, right?
Yeah, like the video we are streaming live on YouTube, so immediately after the class is on YouTube already, because it's live on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much. Yeah.